It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 1, Episode 9.
Now listen, before we get into this episode, y'all know what I want. First of all, this is the list of shows that we are doing this upcoming fall. This is not the only list. This list is not set in stone, but this is just a few of the shows that we're showing you that we're definitely doing. Also, I need you to subscribe. That's the only way that you will see that we review these shows, right, Blair?
Right.
We need you to subscribe, share, comment, like what you see. That's all we ask you to do, to like what you see. And thank you, because our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we can do it.
Yes.
I think we can do it.
Gift that to us for Christmas.
Yes, these strangers that you see on your phone and your TV.
Give us a gift.
Yes.
And we will gift you with all these episodes.
Yes, we will. What happened tonight on Love and Marriage Detroit?
So we start where we left off in the last episode with the guys on the beach.
Okay.
We're ending the conversation where Anthony wants to invite Lyrique to the showcase. Brandon is saying, no, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony says that he doesn't have an issue with Brandon. He gets all in his face, and Brandon is saying, you are too close to me.
I don't have nothing against you, though, Blair.
All up in his face.
But I ain't got nothing against you, though, Blair.
Brandon says Anthony is not a true friend. And Anthony is saying that he is willing to work out their relationship and be on a good page. Brandon says he'll think about it.
Here's the thing about it. Their friendship have took a complete, is it 180 or is it 360
180
or 720, whatever it is, right? It just keeps spinning. This is completely night and day than how the whole series started. Now we near the middle. I don't know where we at, where the show, because it didn't even say on the last episode of Love and Marriage. No, like we don't know where we at. But I'm guessing the middle, closer to the end than the beginning. Anthony was Brandon's biggest defender. I gave him the nickname MMA. You know what I mean? Defender of Brandon.
Yes.
You know? So it's very funny to see Anthony and Brandon face off like this. I will say this in Brandon's defense. You know I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
You know I don't like this guy. No matter if it's because of my clients, no matter if it's because he knew my wife before me, whatever it is, as a friend or a close friend, you can't say, well, I don't got nothing against him. As a close friend, at least. And you can't try to build a bridge last minute that was never there and then be confused or upset that I don't want to cross it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think that's fair.
Next, we move on to the ladies on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just having some girl talk. They're encouraging Colby to have more kids. She's saying she has enough dealing with their one child.
I'm about to say, she only got one, right?
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yeah. Then they all come back together on the beach. There's clearly some tension there. Christina even points out, are things good? Did y'all chat? Did y'all have a heated chat? And they kind of just wrap things up and move back to the house.
I'm about to say, I see y'all huffing and puffing over here. Like, y'all good?
Right.
You know, it just, yeah. I don't know what it is, but I don't even think Brandon, I think he feels some type of way. I think his feelings is hurt. And because you kind of have an idea of how somebody look when they don't like somebody.
Yeah.
And I think it would be too strong for me to say Brandon don't like Anthony. I think his feelings is hurt by Anthony. And like it's coming out this way of like, oh, I think you don't like me. Or basically you got something against me. I think his feelings is just really hurt because he's not considered. The more and more the star show or the star case, whatever it is happening, he's getting less and less considered.
True.
And I think his feelings is hurt by his friend. And you know, guys ain't gonna come out and say, you hurt my feelings or you're hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like, you don't like me.
Yeah.
Or like you have something against me. So like I think it's coming out in those ways. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we are all getting ready back at the house for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We check in with Christina and Brandon.
Okay.
And Christina's explaining that the ladies had a good time on the boat and that she sat next to LaToya on purpose to let her know that, she doesn't have a problem with her. And she still thinks that they need to have a conversation to get to the bottom of things.
We're going to have a conversation about what?
Exactly. What are we getting to the bottom
We got to the bottom of it. You lied.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what happened. You was fibbing. You was telling the story. I don't know what other ways I can for you to understand it. We called Brittany, I think the name
Brittany.
Her name was, and we figured out that you was telling a lie.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all. So what are we getting to the bottom?
And sitting next to me doesn't let me know that you don't have a problem with me because I wasn't the one who lied.
Right.
so like, I don't understand what was her passive aggressive way of trying to show truce. Of like whatever. Christine was like, I'm gonna sit next to LaToya just to let her know, like, I don't have nothing against you, girl. And LaToya's like, I ain't doing anything. Why would you have something against me?
Yeah, Christina's whole, and she said it multiple times of getting to the bottom of stuff during the episode.
Yeah,
it's like you feel a way and you need to express it.
Yes.
Is what I'm getting. You saying we're getting to the bottom of it as though the other person needs to help solve a problem with you.
Yeah.
Is not what is going on. You feel a way, you haven't voiced it, so that's the issue to where you need to get to the bottom of why you feel that way and how you're going to talk to this person.
No.
Because there is nothing for the other person to figure out with you. This is your stuff.
Now, let's see how good our chemistry is. Okay, I'm scared.
Okay.
What is that word to where I'm saying that you feel some type of way, but really you don't? I'm basically putting it on you.
Oh, deflecting.
That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's close enough.
Okay.
I don't know what the word is. I can't think of it. But it's like, you're like basically saying that I feel something, basically to your point where I'm like, really, it's you. And you're trying to put that on me. And I'm like, no. But LaToya, like I said, LaToya, she's not treating her any different than how she treated her from episode 1. That's the only reference that we have of how everybody's relationship was.
Yeah, they were never that close.
LaToya didn't talk
joking around, Dr. LaToya, she don't really be talking even to Colby like that. Like, she's just kind of a chill personality overall.
This is episode 9. The doctor didn't start talking to episode 7. You get what I'm saying? So we can see from episode 1 how Brandon and Anthony relationship is different. And guess what? Things are back to where Christina and LaToya relationship is back to where it was.
But there's just no issue.
Yeah. Maybe, I just thought of something, right? Maybe Christina, passive aggressively, is not over what happened with her and Colby. Colby's supposed to be your sister. Colby's supposed to be your friend, your homie. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to sit next to Dr. LaToya just to let her know that I ain't got nothing against her. Your beef really didn't really stem from Dr. LaToya at all.
Yeah.
It stemmed from you and Colby. Go sit next to your friend.
Right. Because y'all back cool.
Exactly.
Right.
Unless y'all not really that cool. Unless you still harboring something off of that interaction. Besides just trying to say, hey, Dr. LaToya, how come we ain't how like we was? And I'm like, how was y'all?
How was we?
Yeah. But continue.
Right. Still in the room with Christina and Brandon. Christina is trying to get something out of Brandon about how his day went. He's really not expressing much, but he just says that he feels that Anthony has a target on his back too. And that the Lyrique issue was brought up and he just wasn't feeling it. Christina keeps saying, like I said before, they need to get to the bottom of things.
Okay, detectives.
Right.
I hear y'all.
So they all come together for dinner.
Uh-huh.
Christina brings out a game called, the Situation Box.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a good conversation starter where they each write down a situation and read it out to each other and answer it. And it forces them to have some hard conversations.
I don't know where that force comes from. That word force is funny.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got to play.
Right.
I ain't got to play.
Right. And to me, I was thinking, like, is this Christina's way of trying to talk to Dr. LaToya because she can't just outright say it? Like, I don't know. I felt like, where is she coming from with this? But it actually just turned out to be a fun game. They had a fun dinner, which was nice to see. You don't need to be arguing every single time y'all get up. So
exactly. This is probably the last day or the last 2 days we here and things of that nature. I don't know. Like, she just she doesn't. I don't think she deals with conflict well. Mm-hmm. And I find that very interesting since the beginning of the season, her and Brandon was having the most conflict, and she was dealing with that. Mm-hmm. So I find it very interesting that whenever she has an issue of or anything like that, she avoided Colby calls, Colby text messages. Mm-hmm. She's in the dark or confused. Let's use that word confused because she's confused.
Right.
She's confused about Dr. LaToya, but there's no direct questions. There's no direct solutions. It's always around the issue. It's always like, you know what? Let me sit next to her in the boat.
And it's like she's creating it to where, like you said, the other person has a problem with her.
Yeah.
Or where she's like, Colby, you're yelling. Colby, I don't understand why you're upset. Da,
yeah.
da, da. When it's just like, Christina, clearly you felt the way. Mm-hmm. You didn't express it. And people are reacting to you. Christina, clearly you lied on Dr. LaToya's husband mm-hmm. and talked to another couple and said that he was bad mouthing them, but you're wondering why Dr. LaToya don't like you. It's like, I don't know if she's really like not self-aware at all, or if she's just like, I can't admit when I'm wrong, so what's your problem with me?
And here's the thing about it. If we really go with what came first, the chicken or the egg type of thing, mm-hmm. Christina she didn't even have to be wrong in anything. Mm-mm. If she was just direct mm-hmm. with Colby of saying like, yes, I don't want you to do this sponsorship, or I don't want you to do whatever, or I don't want you to work with this company because I'm working with them.
Right.
She's in every right to say that, mm-hmm. to feel that way. But because she's not direct and she's passive, she finds herself in this little Charlotte's Web. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now she's seeing ghosts now.
Yeah.
It's like now she's like, you know what? Something ain't right and we got to do something. I'm like, okay.
The energy is off, and it's just like,
and guess what? And everybody went back to their perspective corners of how they was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's weird, but like I see it.
Yeah. So we move on to the ladies. They have a nice little bonfire at the end of the night just to have some girl talk.
Because Russell said, I'm going to bed.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then Christina, she was saying that she feels like when situations arise, LaToya makes her out as the bad guy.
Okay.
And finally, she is direct with her questioning to Dr. LaToya. Mm. And she's asking, is there something I've done to offend you, to make you feel like I'm always in the wrong? My thing is, Christina, you're just always in the wrong. Mm. You just are. And I guess she's saying like, when I express myself, you just assume I'm in the wrong. But Dr. LaToya is like, I don't assume. Like, she didn't say this, but I'm saying as viewers, and I feel like as Dr. LaToya sees it, we can see where you are effing up. Mm. And you are in the wrong. And I don't know why you think someone is going to sit here and talk to you and say, oh, well, let me hear what Christina has to say about this. Mm-hmm. When it's clear you're not being honest. It's so obvious.
Here's the thing. I never viewed Christina as the villain. That's the crazy thing about all of this. This feeling that Christina feels is I love saying this word on the channel. It's propaganda. Mm-hmm. Okay? What you feel, Christina, is just caught.
Yeah.
Like basically. So in a way of you actually being the one that was the perpetrator, you're trying to make yourself the victim.
Yeah,
of
weird.
Saying like, why is it that it's me that you feel some way? Listen here, these are not accusations. I was at my wine event. Mm-hmm. I was at the anniversary picnic that we went to in like the middle of the field. I was at the bowling alley. The only thing that I feel like Dr. LaToya shouldn't have did was be Colby's defender. If someone go download information to you, it's not your job to go and use that to strengthen your point for your issue.
Right.
That's something that I'm like, yeah, Christina kind of got you with that. Her problem with Colby got nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. You know? But the problem that you had about her mentioning your husband, that had everything to do with you. Mm-hmm. But Christina, she's trying to flip it. She's trying to make it seem like, why is it that I am the bad guy in this? Christina, we are only talking about one situation, And that's the only situation we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that's the fact that you didn't tell the truth about what Anthony said. And this whole thing, that all that stems from you and Kobe and all that stuff, that's, you didn't even have to be wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it took you this long to even bringing it up amongst friends, kind of like, it's kind of weird to me. I probably would have wanted a more one-on-one conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, you ain't gonna borrow my friend's courage to be bold and stuff like that. Like, no, like, let's have a tough conversation if you want to have a tough conversation.
Yeah.
I don't like that whole playing the victim role of like, why me? Woe is me. I'm not a bad person. You don't even get to hear my side. You just automatically assume that I'm the bad person. Listen here. Like Blair said, she said, because you is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go 100% that, but I definitely go 90% that. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, whatever somebody feels about you, trust me, these are not new feelings. If somebody thinks you always wrong, they always thought that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, you turn over a new leaf when you do new things. Apologize, move on. Stop bringing the cloud around you and making it like weird for everybody else. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And LaToya, she expresses that basically what she's seen over the past couple of weeks has just, from Christina, just hasn't been good. She didn't appreciate Christina not reaching out to Colby when Colby, as your friend, your sister, you needed her. You weren't being a friend to her. And also, Christina didn't take accountability in the Anthony and Brittany situation. She tells her to her face, these are the things that have me looking at you sideways.
Yeah.
Christina feels like LaToya doesn't like her based off of situations that don't involve her.
That's fair.
So, to me, I felt like Christina kind of dismissed her reasons by saying that.
That's true.
When the thing is, you asked her and she's saying pretty much, I just don't like how you move. Mm-hmm. And that is a fair answer to your question. And for you to say, well, I didn't do anything to her, so she really shouldn't care what I do to other people.
Okay.
It's like, no, because to me, I'm like, it's only a matter of time before it's my turn. And honestly, it kind of has been her turn when you talked about her husband lying. Like, that's the extension of her.
Like, Christina with this whole mindset of, well, I ain't talking about you, I talked about your husband. Like, I agree with Blair, and two things can be true. I cannot like how you're moving while at the same time not liking you. Mm-hmm. But I agree to your point of how it is dismissive, because when I say I don't like how you treated Kobe, or I don't like how you lied on my husband, if you just say, you just don't like me.
Yeah.
It takes away the accountability that you have to take, or the part that you played in those situations. Mm-hmm. So now you threw it back on me, you volley it back to me, and just say, you just don't like me. I'm like, well, goddamn. What's the point of me answering these questions?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, I don't like you, but I'm telling you why I don't like you. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, some people may feel like, you know, like, I cannot like what you do, but still like you. I'm kind of in the middle, kind of leaning more on if you don't like them because of what they don't do, or like the things that they do. But with Christina, with this specific case, with this one-on-one case, it was stated what you did wrong, and she's like, "You just don't like me."
Yeah, and what I did had nothing to do with you.
And guess what? That cloud, or like that feeling you feel,
that spirit of confusion,
or like whatever it is that you thinking that, like, you thinking that things just not right. Things just not right. That is an isolated feeling now, because
nobody else feels that way.
Because you brought it up, they answer it, and you got the answer that you probably didn't like or probably didn't want to accept. But truth be told, like the forecast is clear now. Like, basically, like, whatever people feel about you, it has been stated.
Yeah.
It has been stated.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. LaToya in the confessional, she tells us, look, Christina needs to be honest and upfront and clear, and we'll be good. Basically saying,
you're a liar.
And you...
sneaky. That's basically what she said. She said, you're a liar and you're sneaky. I'm basically deciphering and being an interpreter, because Dr. LaToya said it all nice. But she basically said, you're a liar, and to be upfront, you're sneaky.
Yeah. Right. Next, we move on to Bravo and Anthony. Looks like they're at like a little like daiquiri spot or whatever.
Okay.
They're getting like wings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they are discussing the man movement.
Oh,
The man's movement march.
You know I'm part of the man movement.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Where was you at in the empty room?
Don't worry about where I was.
Okay.
And you stay on course with what happened.
Okay.
This is about the man movement.
All right. So they are discussing adding another speaker to the Man's Movement event.
Mm-hmm.
And who but Marceau Scott?
King Marceau.
Yeah. So he pulls up. Bravo wants him to discuss what he's built as far as the Black Lounge, their chocolate wine, and all this stuff. And honestly, and Marceau, he really has like come a very long way from season 1 of Huntsville. I think Tisha helped him get one of the largest contracts he ever had at the beginning. And they've really just been, I mean, even when they came on, they were already up, but they've just been going up ever since. So I do think it was a good idea for Marceau to come in, have a little crossover moment, and to also inspire the other guys with the Man's Movement march.
I mean, he's a Detroit native. He's from there. So it's good to see King Marceau on the show, giving his wisdom and things of that nature for this man movement that I am a part of.
Right.
I'm a proud man movement member.
Right. And we move on to Brandon and his mom, Kathy.
White mom.
Yes. And it is Brandon's birthday. She makes him like a cake, and they go to sit down to chat and have some of this cake. So Brandon and his mom don't really have a great communicative relationship.
Okay.
It's kind of a high and by situation. They don't get super deep. Kathy doesn't think saying I love you makes sense as he got older. She said it as he was younger. And Brandon is saying that's weird. Like, you should be able to say you love me to your child. Brandon would like to go to therapy with his mom. And she agrees, but she's also saying I'm fine if things stay the same.
I'm always interested in those different type of relationships where the child is black and the parent is white. Because I never want to call nobody racist unless I know for a fact, and then I'll definitely call you racist. But I'm very interested in why this white mother don't want to call or have a relationship or tell her black son, I love you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I find it very strange, and you could definitely tell like it affects Brandon, even how he operates with his own wife and things of that nature. Not saying that Brandon is he's not dumb, but you could definitely tell based off the relationship he had with his mother, there's not a lot of emotional intelligence that he feels, because if you don't have practice expressing feelings that benefit you first, if you don't do it for yourself first, it's gonna be hard to express how you feel for somebody else. That be it for your kids, that be it for your wife, that be it for your friends. So this was a very not powerful, because it wasn't powerful, but this was a very like
insightful,
a very aha moment, exactly, that make you go, okay, the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. And I'm like, I think it's nice that he wanted to take his mother to therapy and fix it. I think it is discouraging that this white mom did say she likes the way it is. And I'm like, I don't think that's the line you're supposed to say. You know?
I feel like as far as, well, a couple of things that get brought up during their conversation is that Brandon does say that he has a severe lack of emotion that is affecting his marriage and his other relationships. He also tells her that it was really hard growing up in the hood with a white mom, and she says it was really hard being in the hood as a white person.
I feel you.
So I don't necessarily know or think that she might have some underlying racial something with her children. I feel like and as the conversations go on, it seems like Brandon was like a troubled kid. And he wasn't very expressive. It didn't seem like he respected his mom or feared his mom. So I really do believe there was a limited amount she could do. And how can I say this? Well, I'll just say it plainly.
Say it plainly, and hold on. Say it plainly, and I'll fix it if it's bad.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, with Black mothers, a lot of the time, there is a level of strength and authority and respect that they command.
You think Brandon took advantage of the fact he had a white mother?
I do.
Okay.
But
did you see how
and I feel like as the white mother, at least the way that they come across in this situation is that she did not command that authority and respect with her child. And he walked right over her. And she didn't do anything to correct it. She just let it go and just stopped trying.
So question, stay there. Do you think she's holding like some type of like grudge in like a way against him for how he may have treated her? Now granted, now we over here playing detective.
Yeah, we reaching and speculating and playing counselor.
Yeah, but hell, it's fun. It's our show.
Exactly, it's fun.
Dude, like you think like in some way, because that's the thing about older folks, they hold grudges, especially with if I go across the lines of how you just explained, of how you just outlined everything. Do you think like she just like, I got him to a point where he was an adult. We ain't really gotta be like this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, he come by, he eat some cake and stuff like that, but we ain't gotta be like this. Do you think potentially that could like plant the seed of some type of like we cool, but we ain't really that cool?
Well, honestly, I don't necessarily feel like she has a grudge against him. I just feel like maybe she just doesn't like him as a person.
But that's your real son though. Like that's what I'm confused about.
And the thing is, you could love your child because they're your child, but you just don't like the way they speak to you or treat you, and you're just kind of wash your hands of the relationship but say, I love you and I'm still here for you as your mom, but we get to talking too much, we're going to get to arguing, and I don't need that stress in my life.
Okay.
So that's how I'm imagining. And she's an older woman. Yeah. And it seems like she lives alone. So I'm thinking that she has a peaceful life that she's created for herself. Yeah. And Brandon coming with his stuff can disrupt that.
Don't come there with your loud wife.
Exactly. So
that's
so I think it's more so of her wanting to protect her peace and keeping things as they are versus trying to change and switch things up and having to deal with conflict. And she's like, I'm however old I am. Our relationship is what it is, and I'm at peace.
Yeah, and like you said, I'm not gonna pile on her. She agreed to go.
Yeah.
She ain't gotta agree to change yet, but she agreed to go. That's fair.
Yeah. So we move on, and we see Anthony and Dr. LaToya.
Oh, please don't tell me this is this is for the man movement.
This is the day of the man's movement march. You got man's movement on your chest? Is that what you're doing?
Don't mock me. Okay.
And they're coming in. The room is very bare. There's no signs, balloons, tables, informational sheets on display, nothing.
But we got a building.
We got a room.
Yeah.
And Dr. LaToya, she's asking about, okay, well, what's the setup? What's the signage? Like, what is this going to look like? We're only have a few minutes or so before people start arriving.
We don't care about that. We men.
And Anthony says that, look, we don't have it done yet. I think they're at like a printing studio or something like that. So the guy has to get the prints and everything. And Anthony's saying, I'm not pressed about it. We're going to get it worked out. It's not going to be an issue.
Now, mind you, it's raining.
Hard.
Yes.
It's raining hard. And they're supposed to be marching outside. So Bravo arrives. Then we have Russell and Colby. Brandon arrives by himself. Bravo's wife eventually comes a little bit later. And Marceau arrives in the mix of that.
King Marceau.
Yes. Bishop also was there, which is LaToya's dad. And before Bishop got there, it was just them. Anthony was saying it's kind of embarrassing. I've got Marceau here. And, he's supposed to be speaking to people. And right now it's looking like he's only going to be speaking to us. because nobody has arrived.
Speak on, Marcel.
And it's 5 minutes until we're supposed to be getting started.
Now, here's the thing. Dr. Latoya, her hands was itching. Mm-hmm. She was like, please let me help with something.
Yeah.
And
I felt her on that.
I will say this, with all jokes aside. He should have had his wife helping with something. A cloth or something would have helped. You said it was a printing building, it looked like?
Well, no, it said it on underneath when they went to greet the guy.
Okay.
They said his name and like owner of the art and print studio or something like that.
Okay, because I'm like, this is like in like a basement. This is like an abandoned church basement. Mm-hmm. But I was very disappointed is the word.
Just by initial
and I'm not even we didn't even get to the speeches yet. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about just the look of it
and the setup. It was very bare bones.
It looked dim. It looked sad. It looked like, truth be told, it looked like no effort or thought was put into this.
Right.
And I'm like, excuse me, I'm thinking like, what's all these meetings for? Mm-hmm. where like there's nothing to, like, come on, man, I'm coming out here, you ain't got no bagels for us, you ain't got no muffins,
no coffee, no orange juice. You know, like we about to be doing marching and I can't even get no nutrition.
Water. You ain't got no water bottles. You just basically told us to drive to this building so we can walk outside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh.
And honestly, I do feel like in the meetings, there should have been who is going to be in charge of food, who's going to be in charge of signage, who's going to be greeting people as they come in. Like, y'all was all standing in the room looking at each other.
Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Because of the guys that was there, Anthony could have stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and picked up a box.
Yeah.
Literally. Mm-hmm. And because the number of people that was there, he could have picked, 2 boxes. Mm-hmm. And got something, but yeah, it did look bare. But what else happened with the movement of the men?
Right. So Bishop Latoya's dad comes in, and then once he comes in, the men start trickling in.
Yeah.
We said that we think that Bishop got some of his parishioners to come out to support.
He said, "Listen here, man, y'all ain't gonna have my son-in-law and like his wife out here, my daughter, looking bad. Men of the church." Y'all gonna come and support this man movement, amen? Amen. Like, you know how they like, yep.
Yeah, so it was good that from what we saw, what we believe, that he got the men folk to come. Mm-hmm. So Bishop has a moment of speaking. Well, Anthony first greets everyone with the speech. Bishop speaks, and he's encouraging the men, saying that more men need to stand up. Brandon was throwing shade in the confessional, saying that there ain't enough people for a movement. Okay. It's a mint.
It's a mint. Okay. You was good with the Kobe cat.
Right.
But now you're just, he
going off.
Yeah.
Marcel comes up.
Uh-huh.
Marcel's speech, and I know we only got a clip of it, was very lackluster. He was talking about anybody can have a movement.
I was moved by his speech, first of all. Let me go. He said anybody can have a movement. I'm like, at first I didn't know what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. He said anybody can have a movement, but everybody can't be a movement. And I'm like, is he talking about bowel movement? What's going on here?
That's what I gathered.
Listen here, I know men in there, and I know usually around that age you get your prostate check and stuff like that, but why are we talking about bowel movement? Listen here, man, I hate those type of speeches, man. As much as I love Marcel, I hate those type of speeches where you invite me out, but you're hollering at me. Yeah. I ain't do nothing to you. You know what I mean? I'm the good guy. I'm here. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, like, what is the point of the speeches so far? Because
to excite the men to march.
Man.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I knew they was going to march. Like, you knew it in your head. Mm-hmm. But once we saw it, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What did you thought once they started single filing, going out the door and started walking down the street?
Well, let's paint the picture. So they leave out of the building. Mm-hmm. And it looks like
it stopped raining.
Right. Mm-hmm. Stopped raining. It looks like they walk in a couple blocks around the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Anthony is in the front talking to the people who can hear him. There's a lot of people.
mind you, it's probably like 20 people, maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Max 25.
And I don't know if his voice is carrying throughout the movement.
Because he ain't got no microphone.
No
There's
bullhorn.
no bullhorn. No sign.
Nothing.
They just walking, like, not even walking militantly. They just, like, lollygagging, just walking through as if they sightseeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's pointing at abandoned buildings, talking about we could buy that, and all we got to do is put $1,000 together. We don't even need a loan.
You talk about us or like everybody? The ones in the front that can hear you, or like?
Are we gonna tell them back there too?
I'm good.
So we get back to the building.
I ain't gonna hold you. That was sad.
Yeah.
That did make me feel sad because I'm like, I really don't understand why I had to walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is just pretty much expressing how they felt about how it went.
Mm-hmm.
Marceau says it was some good exercise.
Okay, I see the shade.
He hasn't seen anything like it.
He haven't.
And he's hoping that at some point they will be able to make an impact in the community.
He ain't
because
coming.
it wasn't today.
He ain't coming back.
Right.
You had him for one day. He ain't coming back.
Yeah. Brandon expresses that he still doesn't really understand what the man's movement is about, and he wants to know what we're doing, and
he's saying this in front of. He's saying this to Anthony. He's saying this to them. Like,
yeah, he was prepared to speak to hundreds of youth, but it was pretty much 20 grown men and elderly men.
It was 20 men, and probably 15 of them was over 50, maybe definitely over 45.
Right.
Yeah.
And Colby steps in to say that, well, I have a good idea of what it is, which they did. They printed out sheets of paper with their mission statement and what it is and what they want to do for the community, and which is great. But there really was no, and to go back to answer your question after I pieced together the whole scene, was that there was not enough planning and being actually able to execute the mission of the Man's Movement March. I think you even mentioned they probably would have had a better impact if they would have done a Feed the Homeless type of event.
Yeah. Let me say my point.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Like, I'm gonna start being quiet doing my shows.
Okay.
But I feel like they shouldn't have walked around the neighborhood. They should have just volunteered somewhere. Don't even bring Marceau out. Y'all not big enough yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just do things like hold a school supply thing. Go into these rough neighborhoods, and you ain't gotta wear no suit, cause all types of men wear all types of clothes.
You can even do a street cleanup thing.
Men don't want to clean; they want to march. All types of men. Men wear garbage suits and stuff like that. They are garbage men. They are dentists. They are plumbers. They are engineers. They are lawyers. They are all these things. They could have really did something in the sense of volunteering, because more times than not, when you see volunteering, especially when I gave to the homeless and things like that, it was really a group of women. So I think they could have done that. And for once, Brandon was actually right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, the only thing that I wouldn't do is I wouldn't rank on my boy like that.
No, but Brandon's already not feeling him.
Yeah, I wouldn't rank on my boy in front of his wife and our friends like that. Even his wife said, "I'm proud of you," even though she probably in that car. She probably was like, next time maybe we could have a sign, maybe we could have a thing.
I know she had a bullet point list going through her head of like, this is what all you really need. And I think she's also in a sorority, so she's done community outreach type things. They held programs and all these types of things. So I'm just like, she knows what is needed in a community impact space.
We hope,
and
he
didn't even tap into that, which is crazy with your wife. But yeah.
But I understand. We hope, because I know a lot of people that's in their sorority that don't be doing this.
But I'm saying, even if she's not active now, when she first was started, you do all that at the beginning.
Yeah, but my whole point is, like, sometimes when it comes to these type of things, our idea in our head is sometimes bigger than what the reality that is needed. Like, we don't need nobody walking around the neighborhood. We need men out here, or basically y'all, especially since y'all was a small group, volunteer somewhere. Just volunteer somewhere.
And I agree with you on that as far as having more men in the volunteer space, because it would make a difference to see successful black men in these shelters, or in all of these different areas to where they can be of support, and actually these young black kids seeing them, and you actually being able to find people to mentor in all these volunteer opportunities. Like this, that's where you impact the youth.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of let's dress up, be fly, walk around. That's not really my thing. Because, like, we seen variations of this, I think, even here in Baltimore. Like, they had, like, a flash mob with these men, these big groups of men. Now, this was hundreds of men. They was, like, downtown walking in big groups wearing suits. And I'm like, okay, we see you.
Yeah.
I see you with your top hat. But, like I said, I think you should have started smaller than this. I know you probably thinking, like, what's smaller than this, us meeting in this basement? Smaller. Like, let's go to the school. Let's go volunteer. Let's give back. Let's do a giveaway.
Let's do something with the church.
It's something like that, And then, make people excited. Trust me. There was some men there that be like, I ain't coming back to this. And even though they did read a mission statement, I still was confused, Kobe, about what was this for. So, yeah. But like I said, you know how I am with black people. I never want to judge anybody for doing something the first time. This was their first time doing it.
You gotta flush it out.
And I think, like, hurry up and be bad at it so you can be good at it. And boy, Anthony, you are bad at it.
Only way to go is up.
Literally.
Yeah.
Or stay there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I think if you just keep doing it and actually have a somebody who has strategy, it doesn't have to be your wife, maybe a professional. I think it could be good.
Yeah. Next, we move into Christina and Brandon's penthouse. I think they have a penthouse apartment or whatever.
Okay.
And we're getting ready for the meeting with the counselor and his mom. The counselor comes, and Brandon and his mom are sitting down. Brandon feels like he always knew that there was love in the house and that he was loved. It just wasn't verbalized. And Kathy, his mom, is saying that, look, it wasn't for lack of trying of me talking to Brandon. I would ask him questions. He wouldn't answer. And she said he'd put his finger in his mouth and turn around. He's like, okay, well, how old was I? 8 years old or younger or something like that. And she just gave up after that, trying to pull the conversation out of him.
Yeah.
So when he was 5, he just stopped talking to him.
Yeah, I think that goes to my point of, like, you hear this rumor, or not even rumor, you hear this saying that says, a mother's love is unconditional. So I don't really feel the motherly vibe from his mother. Like, this is his real mother. This is not, like, adopted mother. So that's why I'm like, does she have a grudge against him? Because I'm like, sometimes if you have a bad kid and a functional adult who is not as bad as he was with a kid, you kind of thank God they're not a kid no more.
Yeah.
You're like, now I can actually have a conversation with you. Now I can talk with you. Now I can actually build something with you because I hated you when you was 13.
Yeah.
You trashed my car. You trashed my house. You was bad at school, always fighting, got kicked out, cost me too much money. But now you're like, you're grown and like, I can actually have a functional conversation with you. But it seems like she is like, hey, I tried to talk to him when he was 2.
And he ain't saying nothing.
So I stopped talking to him. And I'm like, golly, the man past 30.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I'm very interested. And thank God it left off on this. Like, because thank goodness this just wasn't a throwaway scene.
Yeah.
I do want to see more of their interactions. I will give her respect for showing up, though.
Yeah.
For even sitting there, even giving answers that doesn't make sense to us. But she's there and being honest.
Right.
Exactly.
And Kathy says that, sometimes she wants conversation with him. She said she has friends to where they speak to their kids on the phone all the time. And she was like, it would be nice sometimes. And the counselor asked Brandon, well, what do you hear when she says that? And he says that it sounds like you could either take it or leave it. And that's where we left off.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that's how she feels.
It depends. Like, sometimes I may feel that way, but I probably wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I probably would have went more the route of what can I do to assist that. Because I think Brandon, he has and most guys have this way. We have a pessimistic way of thinking. So she said, I have friends that talk to their kids and things like that. And like, I would like to talk to my son, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, but if not, if things. So he automatically went with the worst option of like, I think you can just take it or leave it. You don't really care.
Yeah.
But he didn't hear the hope of like her friends have these relationships. Well, what can we do, Mom, to have the relationship that your friends have with their kids?
Yeah.
Is there something that I have to apologize for as a man that you may be holding on against me that I did as a young adult or as a teenager? You know what I mean? Because that's one thing about struggling. If you have a child that is already making your living experience hard, when you already live in a tough experience, you will have some type of resentment.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yo, like you're trashing our Section 8 apartment. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so I think he just needs to, as the scene left off here, we will see more next week, be more hopeful for the relationship to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't lean towards what has been and basically the dim part of it. You know what I mean? Have some type of hope. Yeah. Because like you said, like I think this relationship affects how he views all relationships and how he operates in all relationships. He has this take it or leave it, this you are against me, even though nobody really said it. But if somebody is having, truth be told, the way that we've seen his mother so far is she seems more of someone that just take the initiative and just like, she probably won't express how she feel, but she probably just move differently.
Yeah.
So he sees that in Anthony. He just be like, even though you say you have nothing against me, you're moving differently. You're leaving me out of the showcase, the star case, whatever it is. I'm always confused whenever they talk about that. You know what I mean? And like, I can feel something shift with us. And Anthony can tell him like, I don't have nothing against you. I don't have nothing against you. But if you have somebody who is a pro in knowing how energy shifts, and I think Anthony, his living experience with his mother, Brandon, living experience with his mother, he can tell when the energy shifts because they don't talk.
Yeah.
So only thing he can rely on is how he feel on things. So Anthony can go and be like, I don't have nothing against you, but I'm going to invite your enemy. I don't have nothing against you. I ain't going to really talk to you. I don't have nothing against you. I'm going to kind of take away some of your star case things. He's like, something ain't right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But I'm very interested in Kathy. I'm very interested in Kathy.
And I do also feel like, Brandon, with you being the one to initiate counseling with your mom, to understand that she's not even in the headspace to change things. She's just like, I'm going to go to this meeting with you because you asked me to go. But you're the one who's actually wanting to push the relationship forward. Yeah. So I do feel like you have to
take the steps.
And also when she answers honestly, of course you can feel how you feel about it, but also know like, okay, now I know where we're at because we never communicated about the status of our relationship. So this gives us a starting point to move from. So it's more so of like getting an analysis of your situation and knowing what needs to be operated on.
Don't hold it against her.
Yeah.
Like, don't hold her honesty against her. Like, because it may come out raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may.
And she wasn't prepared for this. She's just saying, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk because you asked me to.
Exactly. And I actually got a black black therapist over here. They ask me questions. I'm gonna answer the question. I can take it or leave it. And you can't, like you said, don't be offended by it. Look at it as a diagnosis. You say.
A summary, a diagnosis, analysis of where you are.
Yeah, and like you said, where y'all at today doesn't mean that's where y'all go stay at. That's the whole point of therapy.
Right. And she, honestly, her thoughts might change as far as taking or leaving a relationship as you guys continue to grow and talk more. And she's like, oh, I really actually love having you in my life in this way.
My son.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you have to give room for people's minds to change.
Yeah.
So,
That's facts. Anything else you want to share, Blair?
No, I thought it was a good episode. I really enjoyed the counseling piece,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking forward to see more. What
Listen
about you?
here, man. Y'all be good, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment on the show. We will try to respond to all of them, all 3 comments.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But again, this is the list of shows that we plan on doing for at least the month of August and September.
Yes.
We are going to do a lot of shows and a lot of good shows. And if you enjoy our analysis and our reviews on this show, oh, just wait till you get about the other shows. It's going to be good. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week.
Bye.